Okay guys, welcome back. This is Liz. I'm here to show you a traveler's notebook size journal. It is, well, originally a 2. I did a sister journal for it, but I'm having trouble deciding whether to leave it as is, right, or cover that with this. Oh, I just don't know. So I need to bind this one. Hopefully I'll be able to flip through of that this weekend, like tomorrow or Sunday. So let me get this little string. Why didn't I cut it? So we'll start with this one because this one's all ready to go. On the closure, it's just some sari ribbon, and the front is antique, fabrics and textiles. The back is as well. So this was like a, not a linen, but a table runner. And here's some antique hand-stitched quilt pieces. This was like an Irish linen tea towel, right? And here's some French lace. This was part of a French curtain. And here's some antique fabric. This is American, but it's so cool. So that's what I did for the cover. It is, oops, sorry. It is single signature. So, and let me say real quick, if any, I had a couple ladies reach out for kind of a custom order. If y'all could please shoot me a message. Etsy kind of makes your conversation invalid if you don't talk or have contact for a certain amount of time. So I tried to reach out to you guys. I have another one that I need to show real soon, like hopefully this weekend as well. So I have a couple that are ready to go. I just want to get in contact with you guys to touch base and to see if y'all are still interested in what the order is. The lady that requested the ledger one, I think me and her are good because I talked to her recently, and I talked to another lady yesterday. So just reach out, touch base, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is just paper, regular paper. This is antique French wallpaper. This part is an old vintage greeting card, and I embellished it a little. I think it's from the 60s or 70s. And it kind of folds open, so you have a couple little sections to play with, or collage, or journal. Here's a French postcard. It is blank, so you got some room there. Here's just a little tag with some little piece of wallpaper on it. Ledger on the back. I don't know if I could zoom in a little. Let's try that, you guys. I am not computer savvy. Woo! At all. That might work. Let's try that. Okay, this is a vintage greeting card. You guys know I like to use those, and I just stapled this. This is from a piece of scrap, like not Tim, I think it's Maggie Holmes, like a scrapbook thing. Now this I left open, so you could always take the staple out, cut it, and make it 2 pages like I did right here. So you have two pages right there. Or glue the bottom and make like a little side tuck, whatever. You got a bunch of different ways that you could utilize that. I'm always wanting to scoot up. Here is an acetate pocket, and this is some French ledger. I printed, it's Ruby and Pearl, one of her wallpaper things. I printed on this ledger, and it looks really good. And there's a photo in this pocket. I'm gonna leave it, I left it tucked out so I'd know it was there. I don't want to forget it. I backed it with some wallpaper. Here's some wallpaper. This is some antique French ledger from poetry, from like an old poetry book. This is just a sticker, a flower sticker. This is from a Tim Holtz pad. There's some antique, this is from the 1700s. This paper's got a little pretty stain here. French wallpaper. This was a piece of glassine, like a large sheet that is for stamp collectors. So I cut it and folded it in half, sandwiched it, and made a pocket. So there's some pictures in there. There's a picture. This is a digital from Amity Bloom, and I just really liked using that with you know, with this wallpaper that you can see at the bottom here peeking out a little in this green. I just thought it was like a really cute combo. Yellow, green. So you got all kinds of colors there. And let's see, so antique wallpaper. This is an antique French photo, and just did some embellishing there. This little envelope I made in the class that I read. If anyone follows me on Instagram, I think I've shared it to my stories a bunch. But we did this class, this juncture, and it was so much fun. This is some lavender from my garden, just on some ledger. We just had a blast. Like, I would love every week. It's almost like therapy. Here's some antique wallpaper. Yeah, antique French wallpaper. It is almost like it is better than therapy, y'all. So if anyone gets a chance to get a group of girls together to play with paper and chat, it's the best ever. Just the best. So here's some antique wallpaper. This is regular paper, like specialty paper or scrapbook paper, whatever you want to call it. Here's a little tag. Here's a little bit of wallpaper. I love that little piece there. Here's some wallpaper. This was from Ruby and Pearl as well, and I just added a little bit of texture there. You guys, sometimes my nails are going to be nice and sometimes they're not, so I will, oh, there's some French wallpaper, so I will just pre-warn you guys that sometimes they're going to look on point and sometimes they're not. That's just the way it is. My nails are not perfect ever, 100%. Even when I do my nails, they're definitely not professional or good. So I'll apologize ahead of time, but it's just not, I get dirty. I'm outside doing stuff, get glue stuck everywhere. Here's some wallpaper. This is a piece from a book, like I just got, well, not just gutted it, but it's from this book right here. This is almost a journal. It's almost done. The spine was just so pretty. Like, how could I not turn this? Such a good size. It feels so good. So I added some pages from this, and there are some similarities. Like, I tried to add as many similarities as I could between this one and this one. So, I mean, I'll point them out as I go through here if I remember. I'll try to point them out in the other one as well. Here's some wallpaper. This was from a really cool vintage, I don't think, it's not French. It's a floral book, but it's one of those books where it only had like 4 or 5 illustrated, you know, color illustrated pages. So you like, oh, it's hard to use them when you don't have a lot. But I had to break into it sometimes. So each of them have a spread from that book. This is some of that paper from the book I just showed you guys, and it's so very smooth. Like, it's like there's no grit, nothing. Feels amazing. So you can play with that, collage with it, use it for a tag, whatever. Vintage Genesis label. Here's some antique wallpaper. This is antique yearbook page, and I've used this before, I think, but I love that border. Gold border. Some vintage flower pages. I purposefully try to find pages that are floral pages that are laid out in these kind of square domino grid look. I just love it, and plus you can cut them out easy, and it's just, oh, it's so great. If you guys ever find that, get it. Ledger wallpaper, ledger. This is just folded in, so you got some room there. This was a piece of antique French fabric that I have in my stash that I just cannot bring myself to cut up. It usually takes me so long to start getting into these pieces, and I don't even know if I ever will, but the paper version will do because I scanned it and the colors came out really nice, the pinks and the greens. This is a rickrack, not closure. Oh my gosh, packaging, piece of rickrack packaging. And I'm always saving these, so you can do some like journaling on that side or on this side, or you know, whatever. This was some vintage gift wrap in a batch that I just got, and that's gorgeous, of course. There's a wallpaper label. Here's some French wallpaper. Oh, I touched another. So here's another piece of that antique French 1898. Oh, antique French copybook. I gotta get a postcard to put that thing back in because I will wrinkle it terribly if I try myself without. Okay, so this is a spread from McCall's. Yeah, McCall Needlework magazine. I think this one was from the 40s. I have like, I don't know, like 6 copies, but they're consecutive, like 44, 46, 47, so they go like that. But if you have a chance to get a McCall's Needlework magazine, let me grab one real quick. I highly suggest you do. They're big, right? They're pretty good size. They're big. They have a lot of colored illustrations. So a lot of the vintage sewing you get, it's mostly black and white, and you'll get maybe a couple spreads like this that are color. But in that one, this was even an ad. This wasn't even a highlighted like clothing spread like a lot of them have. Some of the ads are color, so you get more color than the ones that I found. Most of the ones I found, you don't get that much. There's a glassine bag with some little bits in it. So if you have a chance and you see one, it's really fun to use. It's thin, but it's really fun. Here's some French wallpaper. Here's a piece of wallpaper. Here's a piece of ledger. I like this one because it's got that really cool striped yellow, blue and white, not white, red. So it's a nice square piece. I had to put something like kind of stiff in this pocket because you see this wallpaper just wants to curl. So this is some of that vintage wrapping paper also. The other journal has a spread like that as well. Here's some of that vintage wrapping paper. And here's like a little wallpaper tag. Right, and this folds out. This is like a Rolodex card. This is a big old index card that's coffee dyed. Is that in frame? So that folds out, and this goes in. So you would never know. So if you want to put something in there or write in there, it could be well hidden. Here's the other side of that spread. Isn't that pretty? So it was like a big giant vase with flowers coming out of it. It's just very pretty. So here's the other sides. Here's some French wallpaper. Other side of the floral and the yearbook. Right? French wallpaper. There's just some little washi tape. This is the Amity Bloom washi tape, which I love. It goes with everything. Here's some antique wallpaper. Other side of the real pretty illustrated flower pages. Here's some wallpaper. A little ruffle. This is some antique French wallpaper. This little pocket. This I was originally going to sew it in. But if any of you guys, gosh, if you've done like a single signature journal, like it gets thick. It can get thick quick. So constantly putting in pages like this that were thin, that I felt the need to reinforce so it wouldn't rip, as I was sewing. I had to tone it down because it just takes up so much room and it gets so bulky so fast. So I tried to clip, if I had a thin page that could be tucked, I tried to tuck it instead of make it a page. Here's a vintage greeting card. This one I did like that. So you have like a pocket there, right here on the side. This is a piece of vintage wallpaper and some flint cards. So let's go in there. French wallpaper. This pocket I left open so you could stick, if you wanted to stick something bigger, obviously you could. This is a piece from an antique, well, it's 29, I think, like a fabric sample swatch deal. And an old photo, little girl. It looks like a little girl at her birthday. Here's a piece of antique French wallpaper. This is such a pretty pocket. I love this pocket. Let me see. Let me get everything out. All right, so this was like a gift tag from that wallpaper, the wallpaper bundle I just got. It had matching gift tags in it. So this is some antique French wallpaper. So it just looks so cute right there, doesn't it? Like glare sometimes, my goodness. This is an original print from a French book, but it's got the makings of greatness. Look at all the foxing and the discoloration. I just thought it was so pretty, and it's so fun to add the originals in. Yeah, it looks like a Greek tragedy, right? So anyway, so you got that. It's just gorgeous. So this home is right there. Here's his home. Here is, so this is some French wallpaper. This is from like an Amity Bloom kit. I don't even know which one it is. Anyway, I put some antique French ledger to kind of layer it up. Here is a postcard. I wasn't too, like the front's pretty, but I love the handwriting. So handwriting side up. I may add another postcard in here. I usually do. Yeah, I'll add another one in there. I'll add it before I send it off. This is some French wallpaper. This is from a scrapbook pad. This is just this. I think this was part of an Amity Bloom too, like the other side. This scrap was in an old antique ledger, and this is nice, thick, gritty, rough paper. It's got some cute little writings and scribbles on it. That would be good for collage, or actually just flipping it over and doing stuff on the back. But I don't come across this paper a lot. Actually, that book was the only book that had that kind of paper. So here's the other side of the glassine pocket. And excuse me, put this, whoop, I don't even know what I put in here now. There's a vintage invoice from 1948. This is actually near where I live. Well, it's in Stanton, Virginia. So yeah, this is a local piece, which is so cool. I'll have to tuck that in later so my arm's not all up in the way of the camera. This is a part of a antique greeting card. Maybe the back, I don't know. But its home was right here on the other side of the glassine, so you could see that through the glassine. So I clipped a piece of wallpaper here to play with, right? So the other side of the Tim Holtz is starting to get thick and chunky. Here's a piece of that antique French poetry page wallpaper. I also tucked, this is from an antique French chemistry book, but I loved these. I got the books. They're gorgeous. They got the gorgeous spine just like the other one. I got them because they have these awesome illustrations in them. They're just so cool. So that is tucked in there. There's the other side of the ledger that I printed on, and the greeting card with a little bit of collaging with wallpaper, and a pocket, and there is a big, it's giant, it's a big photo, and a piece, yeah, it's two pieces from that antique French dictionary. But it's the cool mammal diagram. So that's this one. Hopefully you guys will be able to get the other ones done this weekend as well and catch up a little. Thanks. Have a good weekend.